So do you ever wonder what's really going on in the Valencia real estate market? Well, I'm going to break down the first quarter for you, and I'm going to do even one better. I'm going to do just the 9135 area, so the original old school Valencia area to start with. So I'm Tami Cicerello with the Cicerello team at RE/MAX of Santa Clarita, and I've got the numbers for you. So there's some surprises in here. So let's go ahead and break down the first quarter of 2025 for the 91355 area of Valencia in Santa Clarita. So first things first, let's talk about pricing trends. So right now, as we're just starting on the second quarter of 2025, our average price on market right now is $820,000. Now that does include single family residences, condos, and townhomes. But here's what's interesting. Once the house goes into escrow, the average pending house right now is actually at $935,000. So when we zoom in and we just look at the number of homes that closed in the first quarter of 2025, the average price was actually $760,000. So what does that tell us? Well, there's two things. One, there were more condos and townhomes that actually closed escrow in the first quarter than single family homes. So that's part of the reason for the discrepancy in the pricing. But also, out of the 123 properties that closed escrow, condos, townhomes, single family homes, a little over half of them sold for under asking price. So there is a gap between what sellers want to sell for and what buyers are willing to pay. So if you're thinking about selling, you do want to keep that in mind and make sure you price your home properly. So now let's change it up a bit. Let's talk about what's selling versus what's not. So we broke it down by price range. And there's definitely a clear sweet spot. That $900,000 to $1 million range are selling most consistently, and 55% of them closed escrow. That's followed by the $800,000 to $900,000 range, where 50% of those closed escrow as well. So you can tell that $800,000 to $1 million range is the sweet spot in the 91355 area code. Below that, things are a little mixed. So that under $800,000 price range is seeing about a 40 to 42% success rate. So let's look at the other end of the spectrum here. Anything over that $1.2 million range, the numbers seem to really be dropping off fast. You're going to need to price it properly, make sure it's staged and is showing very nice. So only about 12% of those homes actually closed escrow last quarter. So if you're in that price range, you need to make sure your home stands out, because buyers in that price range are being extra picky. All right, so let's talk about the impact of overpricing, because this one always seems to surprise people. So when we look at homes that actually closed escrow in the first quarter of the year, the homes that were over $900,000 stayed on the market about 39 days. But homes under $900,000 actually took longer to sell. They were at an average of 48 days. Now that seems a little backwards. We'd expect the more expensive homes to take longer to sell, right? But it really comes down to strategy. The higher priced homes that did sell were probably priced correctly, prepared for sale, and marketed well. On the flip side, some of the less expensive homes may have started too high, had to reduce, which takes up more time on the market. So bottom line, pricing it right from the start is your best bet. Let's talk about something fun, the market sweet spots. We looked up what homes are moving the fastest, and this is what we found. So first up, the 5 to 6 bedroom homes, they actually were selling the fastest. On average, they were on the market about 20 days. And there aren't that many of them. So I think they're just in high demand because people are having larger families, and we're finding that the larger homes are in high demand. So next up was your basic 3-bedroom home. So those were on the market for an average of 39 days. And then we have the 4-bedroom homes, which took on average 43 and a half days to sell. And then on the other hand, we also had our 2-bedroom homes, which on average were taking 60 days to sell. So obviously, you're going to want to make sure that you price your home properly and you stage it and have it ready for sale so it's showing its best, especially in those price points that are taking longer to sell. So here's the big takeaway from Q1. If you're a seller and you're in a 3 to 5 bedroom home, and it's worth between $800 and $1 million in the 91355 area, then you are in a really strong position. And if you're in that higher end, over $1.2 million, we need to really get creative, make sure that we're being aggressive with pricing as well as with our marketing. And if you're buying, be prepared. Inventory is still tight in those sweet spots, and there could be some competition with multiple offers. So you want to make sure that you are pre-approved and ready to go when the time comes, because when that house comes on the market, you don't have, in some cases, those 2 to 3 days to wait for your pre-approval to come through. So if you're curious about what your house might be worth right now, or you're a buyer and you're thinking about wanting to buy a home, we'd be happy to sit down and help you strategize on the best way to either sell your home or purchase your next home. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to our channel so that you get updates on the market activity of what's happening. We do these every quarter, as well as we do all the different zip codes within the Santa Clarita Valley. So you can get updates on all the different zip codes and compare and contrast different areas, in addition to just information about the Santa Clarita Valley as a whole. So feel free, reach out if you have any questions about real estate or even just information about the Santa Clarita Valley area. We'd be happy to help.